We want to get started here. I think we have a lot of important information to cover, especially a very important piece about the investigation. We also have some folks who are heavily involved in this at different levels who we're going to hear from as well, so I'll be introducing them as we go. I do want to begin with just some kind of technicalities before we get into the content. And firstly, I just want to thank, I know we'll introduce some of the dignitaries as they come up, but we have representatives from Senator Heinrich here, as well as Senator Lujan. We also have our Chief of State Police, Chief Johnson, is here, as well as the head of the FBI. I saw him, Raul, you're here, as well as our U.S. Attorney. You can see many other familiar faces on this. Our area commander, of course, Ahmad Assad from the Islamics that are right down the street. Now, I want to thank you all for being here. And we actually all have so much that we want to share about what's happened. We're going to share with you a little bit of that, but we also want to make sure we get a clear message out. We really need the public's help today on a specific issue. And so we'll get to that in just a moment. Now, I also want to mention interpretation. Because of the individuals involved in this and the language capabilities that are sometimes a little hit and miss here in Albuquerque, we are grateful to have interpretation. And our interpreters are going to be providing what the chiefs and I share, and others if they want to join us, in 4 different relevant languages after this. So we're gonna go through our material in English first, and then we're going to go through a subsegment of that in our sort of 4 relevant languages with our translators. And I know our translators are here. Where, can you give us a little wave back there? I just want to take a moment, this is their community and they are impacted by this. These are their friends and family. And so I want to thank you for being a part of trying to do what we're trying to do going forward as well, despite the pain you're suffering. Thank you so much. Now, let me begin by mentioning that this is never a situation that anyone ever wants to have, that anyone ever wants to talk about or have to deal with, and one we never expected or thought would ever happen in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Today we are gathered in a very, very difficult time in our city. This is a frightening time for many. We have members of our Muslim community who are afraid to participate in everyday activities that they should never be afraid to do. Things like shopping, things like praying, things like going to school. This is where our city must demonstrate, and our state must demonstrate, a commitment to try and make this a safe and inclusive place in their time of need. That is our mission going forward. And we're going to talk about ways we're all trying to step up to do that. We know this is not our city. We don't know the background of the perpetrator who's doing this. We don't know how long they've been here or not. But we also know that these are tough times where we have to come together as one Albuquerque. Despite the fact that we have a long track record in our community of being a welcoming and inclusive place for refugees and also refugees of the Muslim faith, we know that we stand here today with a community in need of help, a community that's grieving, a community that's fearful, and a community that we must support. So we are here to talk about some of the ways in which we are trying to support the Muslim community, ways in which we're trying to bring justice to catch the perpetrator who committed these terrible, hateful acts of murder. We're also here to support the families grieving for the losses of a loved one. We're also here in solidarity, in prayer, and in service for our Muslim brothers and sisters, in our neighborhoods, in our workplaces, in their time of need. I know that together we all condemn the senseless killings that we've seen over the last month, especially in the last few days. We want to express our solidarity with the New Mexico Muslim community. We also want to extend every support that we possibly can to friends and family and anyone who is experiencing fear in the Duke City. Our highest priority is, of course, locating and arresting the perpetrator. Now, we really need the community's help on this. We've learned some about what's happened. We have some leads. We're going to talk about some of those today. And we've been clear from the outset that regardless, intolerance, violence, targeted violence has no place in Albuquerque, and we will not stop until this perpetrator is found and held to justice. Now, all levels of the government are working together closely on this. I am especially grateful from our governor's office to our state police to Bernalillo County to FBI to our congresswoman's office and to all the law enforcement agencies. I want everyone to know there has been zero lack of communication. It has been exactly the opposite. Everyone is offering to do everything they can, whether it's on the investigative side, whether it's helping do things like offer patrols during prayer time at our mosques, or whether it's helping relieve some of APD's investigative work by taking field calls, whether it's using our different air support and special units to try and track down this perpetrator. I know every agency in central New Mexico is participating. We also know we're in close coordination with the DA's office so that we do this in a way that will stick and that will hold up in court and that will ultimately bring justice. I know he couldn't be here today, but I want to thank Raul Torres for his work right away from day one on this issue as well. Now here's at the city level a few additional items we want to highlight. Number one, this mobile command post is going to be here. We're going to have a few throughout the community so that there is a in-person point of contact location for people to go to discuss this issue or to access services or to provide tips and leads. We also know there's a website available to upload video camera if you have it. And so we're trying to have multiple touch points. This is one physical one right here at the Loma Linda Community Center, which is located just a stone's throw from the mosque just down the street. Now, we also have been in contact with the APS police. We are working with them. We are very concerned about student safety when they go to school and protecting them and making sure that they feel safe. APS has been in touch with us and is working on a plan to do just that, starting Wednesday for most schools. This also includes our specialty schools, one of which, of course, is focused and centered around our Muslim community, and so we are in touch with them with respect to additional public safety support. This also goes for UNM and UNM Police. We've been in touch with their police department, and tomorrow, in fact, there are several meetings at different levels, including with students, to discuss their personal safety and how we can make sure that they're protected at UNM. Now, this has affected so many in our city, and we're providing a couple of other services because of the impacts that this is having. We have heard from the community that the fear is so strong, there is a concern about even things like groceries and getting meals for certain folks in certain areas of town. So our Senior Affairs Department and our Community Safety Department is going to be providing meals as long as we need to anyone who needs a meal who is affected by this tragedy. If you are in need of that service, simply call 311 and we will patch you through on how that's going to work and how we can get you that hot, fresh meal. We also know that if you are experiencing personal trauma, mental health issues, behavioral health issues, you can call any of these specific hotlines available at the state. If you just don't know what to do, call 311 and they will connect you with the right service, which also may include if you want to talk to someone in person that is safe and trained, our Community Safety Department will also be a liaison for those services. Now, the last thing that I want to mention before we move on to an update from APD is that we have a very, very strong lead. We have a vehicle of interest, and we want everyone to take note of this vehicle who lives in central New Mexico, and we have got to find this vehicle. Again, we don't know at this point what it is associated with or who owns it and all of the other questions that I know you're going to have. And I want to tell you right now, we are not going to jeopardize this investigation by revealing every detail. But the detail that you need to know is the description of this car, and we need you to help us find it as soon as possible. So with that, I want to hand it over to Deputy Chief Cecily Barker with more on this. Chief.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank everybody for being here as well. I'm about to share some information with you in which we need your help locating a vehicle. We have information and leads that we are actively investigating. We are reviewing all leads, and when they're confirmed, we will release that information. We have photos of a Volkswagen Jetta or Passat, which you will get a copy of this flyer. What we really want you to focus on is the first picture. The second picture does have notations of possible damage to the vehicle. However, if you see a dark colored four-door sedan, Volkswagen, Passat, or Jetta, we encourage you to call the police with that information. Again, the vehicle is a dark silver sedan with 4 doors and tinted windows. If you are the owner of that vehicle, or you know who might have been driving that vehicle, we encourage you to give that information to police. If you do have information, please call Crime Stoppers at 843-STOP or go to the website at www.crimestoppersnewmexico.com. Please spread this flyer around the community and through social media. As Chief Medina said yesterday, most often in these types of cases, it's tips from the public that help us solve cases. We urge people not to take things into your own hands. If you see this vehicle or you know who might possibly be driving it, call police. Again, we're going to pass this flyer around, and this is a picture of the Volkswagen.
Thank you, Chief. Now, we want to create some space for some folks to share some words, and I want to express in advance my gratitude for our governor. Her and the state police and her team were available immediately to discuss different ways in which they can help. And so we're working tactically on those. One of them is certainly going to be to help provide extra policing presence at mosques during times of prayer. That's something APD is committed to, but also we appreciate all the help that the state police have offered in the leadership of our governor. Governor?
First, I want to say to the, to the Albuquerque Islamic community, and frankly, that community statewide, I am incredibly angry about this situation. Every New Mexican should stand up and against this kind of hatred. It has no place in this city, and it has no place in our state. I've had the opportunity to be in touch with the leadership of the Islamic Center in the community, and we stand ready to do whatever the state can do with whatever resources we can bear to support the city and every aspect of both community service support, the meals, but anything else that provides both safety, comfort, and respect during this incredibly harsh situation that we are facing together. Second, I appreciate the mayor's recognition that when we have these issues, it takes a collective effort, and the law enforcement, the greater law enforcement community, much prior to today, has been leveraging and working together. And what you've heard is that the state police are continuing to create additional presence, working in collaboration, but in addition, taking up some of the investigative work tied to this issue particularly, but also making sure that we're continuing on the other investigative work for every violent crime in the city and the state. We are also increasing our air support. Now that we have information about a vehicle of interest, that kind of support is going to be crucial in making sure that in immediate and rapid effort, the state police can provide that air-to-ground information to the local police officers and state police on the ground and the sheriff's office. Everyone is working together. I also want to highlight that I appreciate the presence and the direct work of the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office, the District Attorney's Office, and I've been assured by the White House that as we need resources in this issue and any number of others, they also stand ready to back us up based on any requests that could make the difference that we intend. Lastly, we will bring this person or these persons to justice. We will provide justice to the families who have lost everything. And this person or persons will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and reassuring New Mexicans and everyone in Albuquerque and every single family, this will get done. And your assistance today and recognition that it will require all of us means that justice happens quicker and more people are protected in this community and statewide. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Governor. Now, next we want to hear from our congresswoman from this area. And I know this unfortunately hits very close to home, of course, for her. We know that it was one of her team members that was murdered, and we're grateful that she's here with us. She's been a very strong supporter of the community and with us every step of the way and with them every step of the way. Congressman Stansbury.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to take a moment this afternoon and begin by addressing our Muslim community here in Albuquerque and our South Asian community across our beautiful city and our state. I'm going to start that over. I want to begin by addressing our Muslim community here in New Mexico and our South Asian community across the state. You are part and parcel of who we are as New Mexicans. Your lives matter. Your lives matter to me, and your lives matter to our governor. Your lives matter to our mayor, and your lives matter to the U.S. President of the United States who stood in solidarity today. I stand with you. We stand with you, and we will do everything in our power to prioritize your safety and ensure that the killer or killers responsible for these horrific and despicable acts are not only brought to justice, but as our governor said, held to full account under the law. I want to thank the Islamic Center of New Mexico, who is here with us today, the mayor, Chief Medina, all of the incredible law enforcement who are literally working around the clock to solve this case, federal, state, and local law enforcement who are putting their lives on the line to ensure that we bring this individual or individuals to justice. As the mayor said, this set of losses is felt so deeply in our community, and especially for me personally, as one of those slain was Muhammad Afzal Hussein. He was a member of our campaign team, a kind, funny, brilliant, amazing young man from Pakistan who came to the United States to pursue his career and his life stream and to study at the University of New Mexico, and who, with a heavy heart, we laid to rest only a few days ago. I want to take a moment to honor Muhammad's life and those of the others who have been taken. Our office is coordinating very closely, obviously, with the governor's office and with the mayor's office, the district attorney, and the rest of our delegation, Senators Heinrich and Lujan, who cannot be here today because they are busy passing one of the most historic pieces of legislation in U.S. history just today, and obviously also our Congresswoman Ledger Fernandez. We are working every single minute to ensure that we bring every federal resource that we can to help ensure the safety of our Muslim and South Asian communities and to bring justice to these communities, coordinating with the White House, the FBI, the ATF, and all of our state and local law enforcement. My office and myself personally want to offer ourselves as resources also to anyone in need during this difficult time. These killers have not only stolen precious lives of our community members, they have stolen a sense of safety and belonging from our communities. And it is up to all of us here in Albuquerque, in New Mexico, to ensure not only that that sense of community, belonging, and safety is restored to New Mexicans and to our communities, but that we are ensuring that we are letting it know that we stand with you not only in solidarity, but in love. Right now, it is essential to ensure your own safety, to travel in groups, to look after one another, and to do everything that we can to protect each other. I have full confidence in our law enforcement, in the Albuquerque Police Department, and with all of those who are involved in the justice system that we will bring these killers to justice. Let me be clear. Our beautiful multicultural diversity in Albuquerque and New Mexico is our strength. We stand together to protect the Muslim, AAPI, South Asian, and Middle Eastern communities who are integral to the fabric of our state and our city. And we will continue to stand with you after those who are responsible for this violence are brought to justice. And we will look to your leadership and those within the community to ensure that we are listening and doing everything that we can. I want to reiterate what has been stated here. If anyone has any information that may be helpful in catching the killer or killers responsible for these despicable acts, please call Crime Stoppers or the FBI or 311 as the mayor has requested today. Finally, I want to say that every one of us in New Mexico must rise to meet these acts of hatred by demonstrating love, by demonstrating friendship, and by demonstrating solidarity. This is not New Mexico. This is not who we are. This is not our community, and we will not stand for hate in any form in our state or in our community. We will stand in solidarity, we will stand in grief and in mourning, and we will stand in our commitment to love and inclusion and belonging in this community. And with that, I want to thank our mayor and all of the incredible leadership who are here today to ensure that we bring justice to our communities. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. And I know we also want to extend, I know this has been really tough on your team as well, and what you and both as a individual, but also as a team, and trying to do your job each and every day, but also understanding the loss of a loved one. Thank you for being here today. Now, we also want to hear from the community a little bit today, and want to introduce Ahmad Assad. I think folks are very familiar with him, the president of the Islamic Center of New Mexico. And we also appreciate him. He is, in a very strong and needed way, been there for us, both in all ways of organizing where and when we can help, but of course, being there for his community. Ahmad.
Good afternoon. What extraordinary, warm, and comforting words coming out of the governor and Congresswoman Stansbury and the mayor today. I can tell you that on behalf of our community, on behalf of the families of those loved ones that we lost, on behalf of the Islamic community and the greater community of New Mexico, because this is a loss for the entire state. I appreciate all of you being here today. I especially appreciate the leadership of Chief Harold Medina, Raul Torres, our DA, the U.S. Attorney's Office, State Police, all members and partners of law enforcement, the FBI, all those that had a swift reaction to the horrible crimes committed against our community. They've been working tirelessly, and I attest to that, as we indicated. I know, and I'm confident, and I'm proud of all those that stand behind me today. As a member, as a resident, as a citizen of the state, as a member of the Islamic community, I can attest to how hard everyone has been working, and I have every confidence in this team, and the coordination has been incredible, every way possible. Mayor, your leadership is incredibly appreciated, and everything that APD has been doing from protecting our community, from training, from offering those steps just to help a community that finds itself in dire need of attention and is confused, is disheartened, is scared. But at the end of the day, we are hopeful, as the statements echoed earlier. We're hopeful because good is going to defeat evil. We're hopeful that our state will emerge again as the state we all know, as the warm and diverse, the diverse cultures, the welcoming of diverse cultures that has been the historic perspective from everybody in this state, Hispanic communities, Native American communities, the rural communities. Every part of the state is a warm and loving and welcoming people, and we're proud of that, and we want our state back. So having said that, I will tell you that a message of hope is always here, and that is to defeat hate. We will defeat hate. I'm confident that this wonderful team behind me and the coordination from the governor's office all the way up and down the chain that we're going to get it done. I'm thankful to all those that are here today and those that are not here today, already working on the streets, protecting us and helping bring this perpetrator to justice. Let me end with this. Our faith teaches us that the killing of one human being unjustly is the killing of the entire humanity. The killing of entire humanity. It didn't say one Muslim, it said one human being. And that's why we are all in this together. So we're going to defeat hate, we're going to win our state back, and I want to thank everyone here once again on behalf of the entire community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ahmad, and we will continue to demonstrate that from today and this day forward in every way that we can stand together. Now, we want to close, I think in first, of course, I just want to again thank those who were able to make it, our governor for her leadership, our congresswoman for being here, and of course everyone here in Albuquerque who's working on this issue, and our federal partners as well. We are truly one Albuquerque, and this is yet another test where we're going to demonstrate that that's the case. And I want to never doubt the commitment that we have to hold those who commit violent acts accountable. Never doubt our community's commitment to support and protect every single community in our city. That is what we will continue to do no matter what. New Mexico and Albuquerque is a state that has been defined by a love for every person and every religion that in a sense makes us who we are given our unique history. And so we are in this together. What we have today is a small but very, very important way in which you too can be in this with us by helping us identify this vehicle. So if you have information on this, please use whatever method you feel appropriate with, whether it's calling Crime Stoppers, whether it's calling the FBI, whether it's coming to this mobile command center. Let us know about that vehicle. And then help protect your neighbors. Help love each other. That's also part of what we have to demonstrate each and every day. Now, we're going to take some Q&A. Gilbert is going to moderate that, and we'll just kind of see in which direction and who needs to answer those. But I also want to let folks know at some point we are going to cut it off so we can do the translation. And I know some folks probably have to leave and whatnot. But again, I want to remind you we're going to be translating this in 4 different languages, and we need this AV set up and so forth in not too long from now. Okay, Gilbert?
Any questions?
Gilbert, if you don't mind, are we just looking at one person of interest, vehicle of interest right now, or are there any other vehicles of interest?
Right now we're looking at the one vehicle. We don't know how many individuals are potentially involved, but we want the public to focus on that particular vehicle right now. It is a common color, but it is a Volkswagen, and something people should be looking for. There's those unique markings, and as the deputy chief said, do not approach the vehicle by yourself. Don't take any kind of action other than calling police so we could get the right response to it. Gilbert Gallegos, Communications Director with APD.
Would you be able to verify the names of 4 victims?
I could give you the 3. We're not verifying the most recent one just yet because we haven't made formal notification of next of kin. Okay.
And the name of the 3rd?
I'll get you the 3 afterward. I have it in writing. Okay.
Verify or comment on a car pulling up with more than one occupant firing 10 to 12 rounds at the last victim, and that the last victim was hit 6 times?
I can't comment at all on those kinds of details, and it's important that we don't publish or push out some information that may be false or misleading, or frankly to get it out there, and we don't want the shooter thinking that they can do certain things to get the publicity that it affects. But as part of the investigation, there are several things in common with all 4 of the homicides, and we're digging back and looking at any other crime that might fit a similar pattern. But yeah, to publish those kinds of details might be wrong, and secondly might hurt the investigation.
Sure, and we definitely don't want to do that.
Okay.
One other question. Are you able to comment on whether the last victim was ambushed?
I'm not able to comment at this point. We're still investigating, and that was only, I think, a day and a half ago, so we're still very fresh into that investigation.
Thank you. So sorry this has happened.
No problem. And if I could ask, on this point, if there is any information you come across from witnesses, for anyone, it's most important to get that to police and to the right people, so we can get that. So reach out to police, but secondly, reach out to me directly, because I want to be able to comment or or refute or confirm or what have you, but it's important you come to me and not just publish something without knowing, okay? Thanks.
Keller, can you tell us when this car became part of the investigation and how?
I can't. I can tell you that in the past few days that we've been searching all of our databases, searching every piece of technology, using every piece of technology that we have, and the FBI's technology and expertise has been extremely helpful. So I think those combined resources have helped narrow in and pinpoint this, for example, this vehicle.
And can you tell us about what weapon was used, what police know about the weapon?
No, I can't comment on that one, sorry.
Gilbert, the realization of the vehicle of interest now, does that change the possibility of this being a possible serial killer?
No, and like I said yesterday, we don't want to use simple terms like that or characterize this in any kind of way. It's the important thing is that we have 4 individuals, all Muslim individuals living in Albuquerque who were murdered. We want to keep the focus on the evidence and where that takes detectives and investigators. So I think at this point it's not useful to try to make it too simple and characterize it or sensationalize it in any way.
Are we ready to at least call it a hate crime against these individuals?
No, as I said yesterday on that point, hate is I think determined by motive, and we don't know that motive at this point.
The mayor talked about extra patrols. Can you just kind of describe how police have responded to these incidents and kind of just what type of unique things are being done?
Yeah. DC Brown, you want to come and talk about the field services response?
Chief, if you want to participate.
Good afternoon. My name is Josh Brown. I'm Deputy Chief of Field Services Bureau. I'd first and foremost like to thank our state, local, and federal partners who have helped us with stepping up and manning some of these posts, specifically Chief Johnson, the state police. We've come up with, there are rosters that have been made. We have adjusted shifts and schedules. So every place of prayer, every mosque, place of prayer, or school that's associated will have coverage. There will be officers available, and there will be officers there at specific times and locations as necessary and as needed. Thank you.
DC, just a quick question before.
Sir.
You had mentioned the command centers that were going to be established for the public's report if they're dangerous, suspicious. Can we post that information of where those locations will be so the public knows where to go?
Absolutely. So we're going to have one here at the Loma Linda Community Center. We're also going to have one posted in the proximity of Highland High School. As it comes closer, school starts on Wednesday, so we'll have one in the area over there as well.
Do we have a timeline for when those will be established?
So the one here is here now, and it'll stay here for the duration.
Perfect. Thank you.
You bet.
And is it just those 2 locations, Highland and here?
So far, but we're also looking to see that with the resources that we have, the amount of command posts that we have available. We also are looking at opening up the Triangle sub that's at Central and Girard as another point of contact as well.
And when someone wants to make a report in person rather than calling like 242 cops, do they want to come in person to one of these locations? What is the best way to do that? Do they not really call? How do they contact you?
So these locations will be staffed as needed. In the hours that they'll be working from about 11 o'clock in the morning at minimum until 8 o'clock at night. And so if they can drive by, make contact with officers, knock on the door. If they need somewhere or can't get to somewhere, they can also call 242 cops, the non-emergency numbers, and we can go to them with any of this information that they want to give to law enforcement. We will be available for them. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Gilbert, if there's any information that you want us as media outlets to stay away from for your investigation, for the investigation of several different law enforcement groups here, what would that be?
Well, I mean, I think the thing with the car is the most important thing right now. So if you guys can push that out, I just emailed it out to everybody. I'm sending it out to national media. We want that spread far and wide so we can get that information out there. If any tips come in, tips may come into newsrooms, definitely let us know. We'll get that straight to investigators. And the other thing, I know Mr. Osed has offered to act as a liaison. If there's people who don't feel comfortable talking with law enforcement, they could always talk within their community and they'll get that information to us as well. Okay, there's nothing else. Appreciate your time.